Live streaming is on.
Okay, so I don't think I actually did the notes. So let me just send you another email with the actual link to the notes. So, bye.
I think the voice is funny of the female voice that always says live streaming is on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice,
I,
no?
I don't know if they did it on purpose, but it's like very like
It's like
charming and
robot. It's
yeah,
like
like
robotic.
yeah, like very sexy. Live streaming is on. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Okay, so the idea here is I'm on the focus and desired outcomes topics
Sorry
tab.
about that. I don't know what is going on with my phone today. Sorry about that.
It happens. You can also see if you look at the Jitsi, you should be able to see my screen recording, and you should be able to
I'm
see
looking at it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's better.
So on the topics here, topic 5 is the life support session.
Okay.
We're on, which was going to be the next topic, and then we'll just add at the 6th topic. We'll go back to budget and Stacy. Okay.
Okay. So I had explained to Melissa that I would have about 30 minutes today. Unfortunately, because I called so late. Is that gonna? Will I be here? Will I have enough time to go over that?
Well, hopefully we can finish up within the next 30 minutes on both topics. Like, I think the life support topic could be pretty quick. I also think it's good for all of us, but in terms of the budget and you, I mean, I'm happy to do it first if you guys are all want to do that. I mean, either way, whatever's fine. Which one you want to do first?
It's up to everyone here. I just thank you guys for accommodating me at all this late in the day. So it's completely up to you.
Oh, Joyce, Alberto, what should we do first? Should we just stick with our previous?
What?
Or do you want to switch back to Stacy or what?
I think.
I think. The invitee list we can also.
It's very
check it on Discord, right? You can send it on Discord
tomorrow too.
Yeah, I mean, the invitees list for the next week live support instead of prioritizing Stacy that jumped on now.
That's fine.
Okay.
I think we should do Stacy first, and then we can do that.
Okay, so topic 5 is going to be budget and Stacy. Topic 6 is going to be life support session for next week and Portline for the orchard. All right, so and both these should go pretty quickly. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Everything always takes longer than you think it's going to take. That's just how it is. All right, so topic 5. Going to topic 5 here is how about this topic 3 copy? Can we use this one? Topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, I think we can go back to the
the topic 3.
Topic 3, right? Where we had
topic 3. Okay. All right. So it turns out that this is actually going backwards to topic 3. Okay. So we're gonna go to topic 3 tab, which is our budget and upfront pay stop. I think it's okay if you guys want to work on the budget tomorrow if we need to, because it is the upfront pay stop. All right, so lots of questions, lots of concerns. Just to give you an update on the voting, Stacy, we went through this with the team. We had a no vote on the first option, which was the additional 10 to 15% cut to include your budget in the for-profit side, because that money's running out. And then in the option number 2 was to temporarily hire you in the nonprofit side, which would be 0% cuts. And this would require approval from the WCC-CCC Board of Directors, which includes Mel and Heather. And this would be temporary for a month because we are required to get the CCC board set up, which also would, if you get approved, this would be one of your primary responsibilities to take on, is to get the CCC board set up and get the nonprofit budget set up, which would include myself, Mel, Alberto, and you, and others, so that it could continue, because under our policies, when we approve someone for a temporary budget hire proposal, it's only for 1 month until the next budget. So basically, if we did this, it would only give you 1 month, and then at that point, if we didn't get the budget set up for the next month, no one would be hired until that was all set up, which includes setting up the board for CCC. So it's a bunch of work, and it would give us a month to get the work done. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to continue with that budget. Okay.
Understood.
And obviously, we would still need to get approval. So, but there's still a lot of questions. The option 2 did not quite pass, but people were open to the idea of, like, if their questions were answered and all the concerns were answered, that they would be more happy to vote and have it pass. So, and that would be
perhaps I can help with that. Maybe I certainly will try.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go down to line, let's see, 60.
Okay.
I'm going to read you option 2. I'm going to read you the details, and then what I'm going to do is do questions, and we're going to go into questions in much more detail this time. So the first thing is just like, we want to hear from Stacy. That was obviously an important question.
Right.
Roles, responsibilities, seriousness, why. Another question was like, why the 35 instead of 17? There's a bunch of questions that we went into: minimum wage, jurisdictional rates, all that. So we went into all of that. So basically, first thing, just hearing from Stacy. We want to hear from you, your perspective, what your interests are, and then there's some questions on your roles and responsibilities, and then there's some questions on the actual pay rate and things like that. Okay.
Okay. Well, so I'm largely very confident in what I do as far as any kind of clerical role. With a dotted line, really, that means I could potentially be a customer support specialist or even a complaint handling specialist. I'm comfortable with either and all of those hats. And that's everything from event planning to setting up meetings to handling somebody's daily schedule and everything in between, really. Ordering office supplies, you name it, I've done it. And then in addition to that, I'm very excited about and interested in the potential of both helping with any kind of payroll issues or taking on an additional hat there and learning, and also the possibility of grant writing or being involved in the grant process somewhat, researching it, etc. That's also something that's very exciting to me that I would really like to get my hands on. And in addition, I'm open to any ideas. Generally speaking, a clerical role like mine is pretty diverse, and I like it like that. So I'm open to all kinds of ideas. If there's anybody in the room that has anything else that they're like thinking, well, I actually was thinking she could help with this or that, I'm very interested in hearing it. And so that's pretty much in a nutshell where my head is at. So.
Right.
Well, so that answers most of the questions in terms of your roles and responsibilities.
Right.
Right. And
what else?
The other component of that was your, policies and following, being on time, like dealing, just the punctuality, dealing with like the general etiquette and things like that. I think, and the seriousness. I think that was another question if you wanted to go into that. And then, but we also want to just hear from you in general, on your situation, why you're excited about working with us, like what's your background, other stuff like that, just in terms of like, I think it's very clear what your roles and responsibilities.
So I'm not sure we got into it a whole lot before, but I was with LifeScan about 10 years, and when I started with LifeScan, it was not my first admin role, but it was my first fully dedicated admin role, and so all of the promotions I got up into executive assistant happened in that 9.5-year period. And one of the last times that I was promoted, I actually took on a project called the University of Diabetes. And that was something I did at will. And it was just something I found exciting. So one of the things that I'm going to want to do and hope that you guys are open to is learning the ropes of your general business model so that I can contribute anytime that there's a special project or something in addition. I like to take on a little bit more. That's just how I better function. And I think that even if I'm not in a role that supports anything that's customer related, it's important that you know that I think of each of you as a customer in your own sense, because I'm supporting you. So that's generally how it goes. But just to give you an idea, that that was a condition of my last promotion, that class. But I really threw myself into it, and in fact, I ended up somehow with a diabetic cat or two, becoming a specialist and having even the VP come and talk to me about animals, because we're obviously, LifeScan is people geared. So it's just interesting coming up with different things. But LifeScan is, for those who don't know, it is a diabetic meter and test strip company. For a very long time, they were an affiliate of Johnson & Johnson. It's just come to my attention that in 2012 or 2013, they were divested, which means they were acquired by another company, and Johnson & Johnson basically, in all actuality, probably said, "You're not making us enough money anymore." That's what Johnson & Johnson does. But they were, for the most part of the time I was with them, they were owned by Johnson & Johnson. So they were affiliated, they were under that blanket. And they were at one point in time also the U.S. consumer leader in the market, and in the hospital as well. It's my understanding they're still one of the leaders in the hospital market, which is typically a 20 to 30 year contract for anybody who's interested. But for the consumer market, it's also my understanding that we've long since been bested by one of our closest running opponents, which was probably going to be the Roche AccuCheck. But the meter is, obviously the machine that reads the strip, and I was part of the reagent operations group, which is the reagent chemical coding of the strip that you actually put the blood on, that goes in the meter that reads the amount. So that was my group. I supported the worldwide director and about 9 managers.
Cool.
So, and if there's more questions, if I'm missing something here, Jay, please let me know.
No, this is all great. I think you answered all of them. So the only other one that was left, I think this is kind of on your side, Alberto, about the not necessarily the $420, because the $420 in this jurisdiction is not a lot of money, but more of like the $35 an hour. There were some questions on that. Was there Alberto, or should we just see what she has to say? Or?
No. What I'm saying is, like, the context now, Stacy, is that we are all squeezing our budgets. We're all making budget cuts. We're all cutting bills because we are.
So
we're counting on SVG launching now in February, and we're peaceful and we're very optimistic that we will. We created SVG to create income, so it will create income soon enough. But at the same time, we need to budget for a long term based on what we have now, right? So
understood, of course.
At the moment, we are trying also to release these funds that are in the nonprofit in order to pay Jay. For example, Jay doesn't get paid for I don't know how much time, but he got very little the whole year. So there's a whole bunch of situations that for me it's kind of, we do this because it's part of our mission and vision to do it, but it's very heavy on the budget and on the general situation from my perspective. And what I understand that in a jurisdiction point of view, 35 is only 2 times the minimum wage. That's okay. But I would have liked maybe to see a proposal that says 6 hours at $17, so that we know that you're going to be more involved than just 3 hours. For just 3 hours per week, all this money, it's relative to our situation, right? $420 is not a lot of money per se, but relative to the situation that we're in, it's a lot. So that's what I'm a bit concerned, right? It looks like, okay, I'm going to work the minimum possible 3 hours, get my 120, and then, all right, thank you guys.
So it's important that you understand that I anticipate putting in 5 to 6 hours every week. And that's the bottom line. I don't anticipate doing any less than 5 hours a week. So perhaps my proposal was not written properly, but that is my understanding. I just listed the hours of pay that I required. And with that in mind, if you don't mind, I'm just going to interrupt myself for a moment and ask you, Jay, how much or how little of my situation has been made known, and how much or how little of my situation should I make known?
Well, I mean, your situation is not applicable to the budget, right? Because the
Right.
budget, the decision on the budget, it's actually against our policy to be going into the emotional and like, oh, you know, just the
Yeah,
whole
well, certainly
about it.
not. I don't really want to do that. I just want to make it
Exactly.
clear that there's
Yeah.
But we
there's
do
not
know
another
that-
job currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've all acknowledged and understand that you are in a difficult situation, and we're trying to
Okay.
help you get on your feet and get, you know, organized and, you know, have resume building and all that kind of stuff to help and get you just active again. So all of those things are clear. And just like Alberto just said, you know, the situation is difficult on both sides, and it's clear that it is part of our mission. So the core reason why we even consider the proposal is because it does align with our mission. It aligns with our vision. It aligns. We want to help people. We do life support. We want to have a mutually beneficial relationship where we're supporting and helping you in the short term, but also, you know, we would love to get some back because you're obviously a very skilled worker. You have a lot of abilities. And so we could really use some of the skills and the work that you have if you're able to commit enough time. So just so we're on the same page of how we separate it in our policies, there is what we call the budget. And the budget is very stale. It's very bleak. It's just like, you know, the $420 for 3 hours a week. I mean, that's it. That's the budget proposal. The other side of the coin is what we call your commitment. And your commitment has nothing to do with the budget. It has to do with how much time you as an individual want to commit. So for example, you know, I get paid for my like not even minimum wage, but I'm, you know, for whatever 7 hours a week or whatever, but I'm committed to 30 hours a week. I mean, I basically work full time and fully committed outside of the context of the budget because I want to make this successful and I want to help other people and have those responsibilities, and I have visions and goals of making the world a better place. So I think that's the correct question that Alberto's asking is like, you know, what is your commitment on a weekly basis outside of the context of the budget? And that basically, obviously, you're getting equity for everything, but in back pay for everything. But in the context of what you were saying, I think you said 6 hours per week. You know, realistically, 6 hours per week with the minimum basic responsibilities, going to a meeting each week. There's not a lot of wiggle room there, but I think that's where Alberto is going, right?
Right. Well,
Yes.
and we talked about the meetings wouldn't be part of what I would be billing for anything current, you know.
Well, it would be
so
part of
that's-
your commitment, right? Because anytime you're required to track all time related to FQN, right? So it all is required to be tracked regardless of whether it's like actual work hours, you know.
Understood.
Responsibilities, yeah.
Right.
So that would all count as part of your overall commitment, your overall back pay and equity value.
Okay.
You need to track those because it's very important, because we are building all our cryptos, and part of the value it's embedded in the time of human beings, right?
But there's a little
Right.
bit of a situation with that, Alberto, in relationship to the nonprofit budget. So anyways,
Okay.
community equity would be the priority on the nonprofit side. Yeah.
Okay.
But the bottom line is that, you know, what Alberto wants to know, and again, this is not part of the budget proposal. This would be additional information. You know, is your commitment, you know, 4 hours, 1 hour more than the budget, 5 hours, 2 hours more than the budget, you know, 6 hours, 3 hours more than budget? You know, is it a little more? I mean, what he's saying is that does affect his voting. Is it potentially 10 hours? I mean, obviously, I think we'll know more in a couple weeks because you'll have more ability, and we also know you're busy dealing with other things like finding a full-time job and other things like that.
Because today we all have a budget hours, but we are putting more hours than we budget, so we are more committed to more because we believe that we believe in the mission and the vision, right? So, and if I see a budget proposal with only 3 hours per week, it's kind of lame in my point of view. Yeah.
So definitely it would be double that, but I just am not expecting to be paid, you know, at all currently for the rest. And if I need to change that in my proposal, I'm more than happy to do that. Once you're getting beyond 6 hours a week and into 10 hours a week, I could definitely commit to that now. I just certainly can't commit to more than that ongoing because I may be taking on full-time job that has also got some overtime possibilities. Typically, a lot of the admin roles here are, and the roles here that are full-time admin work are all 40 hours a week, not 30. So
Cool.
that's just one thing to keep in mind. I have yet to find an admin job that is going to give me 30 or 32 hours a week. You know, that hasn't happened yet. So I'm comfortable doing 10 hours a week until I'm hired, but realistically, that would be 7 hours a week equity or back pay and 3 of pay. So I definitely, in my personal situation, without the details, I just must get full-time work immediately, yesterday.
Exactly.
So
And our
I've got to
expectation
apply
is that,
myself in that direction, you know? So I would be more comfortable with 6 hours a week, but if you needed me to commit to 10 temporarily, I would be happy to do that.
No,
And
we
that
don't.
would probably be 9 or 10 would be probably my limit at that point, and it would have to play by ear once I was hired.
yeah, and in my experience is that, you know, looking for a full-time job basically is a full-time job, right? And then when you're trying, and what our expectation would be that when you get a full-time job, you know, there is no requirement that you control your own schedule. So we would just, it's like you just stopped working with us because you found a full-time. The moment you find a full-time job, if you want to move on and just focus on that, we support you getting fully immersed in your new job, right? So that's all perfectly fine. So what I heard from you is basically you're committing to 6 hours per week, potentially even after you get a full-time job, and then that's not obviously required. And then you know, for a few weeks until you found another job, you might be able to do as much as 10 hours a week. So I think that's
or at least 9. We'll
answer,
say.
Stacey?
Why don't we say 9 just for now, if that's acceptable? And then, honestly, if I did get a full-time job and I was training, I don't think that it would be more than 30 to 60 days till I was fully on board there. And I would definitely still like to stay on, because I think what you're doing is fantastic. And I'm just really dipping my toes in at this point only. And I'm very interested in just the mission and the directive. And I'd love to see where your company goes, Jay. So.
Yeah, and just so you all know, Stacey just found out yesterday that our primary functionality is helping people start nonprofits and social projects, right? And she was like, "What? You know, I want to start an animal nonprofit." So that definitely came up where, like, you know, that's something that she's passionate about and wants to do. And we've been involved in that kind of stuff in the past. So
I've been thinking about that for more than 3 years. So it's really just an amazing coincidence. It's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all very, very intriguing and interesting. And so regardless of whether you're on the staff side or on the client or, you know, support side, it's still all in the same boat. So it's very exciting, you know, in terms of the long-term potential collaboration and relationships. But either way, as far as the short term, just dealing with the actual proposal, it's not exciting because it's just the money and it's a difficult budget decision. So we just need to focus on the money separate from all the other things around this. But let's make sure all the questions are answered, all the concerns are addressed. So Alberto, did that answer all your questions?
Yeah, for me, it answered all the question. And I mean, yeah, I mean, for this first month with the temporary hire, I think it's going to pass. Also now with Stacey vote. I mean, what we're looking for is for you to really help us get CCC all set up with the board and everything, so that we can keep you for the long run, because otherwise it's going to be impossible if we don't release the funds in the nonprofit. I mean, would be we hiring you in the for-profit budget would definitely jeopardize the SVG and the whole.
Cool. So the 3 primary responsibilities we would be assigning to you, Stacey, is number 1, the cause collective communities are 501c3 non-profit board, right? So it's technically not a board, but training the existing boards. We're doing what we call a board outreach campaign to get members and board members on the board, basically from the public. Okay. The second component, and also setting up the budget and actually passing the budget and getting that all done. And we have 1 month to do that. The second component would be the SVG launch,
and basically the client sales. So we decided to primarily focus our launch on LinkedIn, right? So we were going to be setting up our LinkedIn profile and then coordinating outreach on LinkedIn, and that might take, you know, a couple weeks, a month or so, but that will be, you know, something that you could help out with, and we could always connect the LinkedIn into, you know, in-person stuff in California and or other, you know, sites. And, you know, anyways, just we have a whole outreach campaign or a sales campaign, right? And then the third one is obviously grants. Okay, so those are the three. Number one at this point is the CC board. Number two is the client sales launch, right? And number three would be the grants. And the grants is kind of dependent on what Mel said, right? Dependent on Mel's research.
Okay. Now, when you say client sales, how hands-on is that? You want me to speak directly with the client, or I'm just you're not
well,
sure yet?
I mean, basically, our launch process is very detailed. We're not going to be speaking to any potential clients until after we have consensus on the website and basically that we're ready to launch. So first, it's like setting up the website, setting up the LinkedIn profiles, getting it all presentable and professional, which could take us 2 to 3 weeks. And then once we have agreement, I mean, with your help, maybe we could do it faster. Maybe it might take us a week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on how much time and effort we put into it. But right now, we're looking at a mid-February launch, if not even
Okay.
you know, third week of February.
As long as I know what you're looking to get out of LinkedIn, I can certainly work on that, and I bet you I'll be a lot faster than you expect. As far as the website, if it's filling in things that are already preset, like pre-formula Excel sheets or things
Have
like
you done
that,
WordPress?
that's fine. But when it comes to website and writing HTML, I'm definitely in the dark with that. I'll just say that.
Have you done WordPress?
Have I what?
WordPress.
I have not. I've heard of it, and I'm a very
cool.
fast learner, and I'm not intimidated by much. So, but I would need at least a rundown.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we can do that. Anyways, let's get focused on this proposal. So the proposal is to hire a temporary proposal for $420 a month in the nonprofit budget. It would be 0% cuts, and this again is it's not finalized until it's approved also by the CCC and WCDC board, since it's the nonprofit budget. Are there any other questions about the proposal?
No more questions for me.
Joyce?
No question.
Is Moon still here?
No, man, we lost him long time ago.
Okay, it says he's here, but he's muted. All right, so no more
Yeah,
questions.
but he's
So
probably
the primary concerns are that the nonprofit budget, isn't ready. Still don't have the expanded board. Paying Stacy before Jay and Mel and Alberto, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to note on that particular concern, we do not have to wait till next month to get the CCC budget up and running and ready. We could do that in a week. We can find people for the board,
exactly.
get it all set up in a week. We could set it up for this month, right? So that's definitely a possibility. Other concern, obviously, is we just have a tight budget in general. Lots of cuts. Everyone's taking cut, and we need to reduce our business expenses. So that's all going on right now. I did say the other concern, obviously, is that, really this isn't enough money for, San Jose, California jurisdiction. So that's also a concern. So, I mean, there's no question that you're taking a cut in your proposal as well. Any other concerns? Did I get them all? A lot of concerns.
Yeah, those are the main concerns.
All right, Joyce, anything else?
No questions.
No other. Okay, so then let's go ahead and finalize this vote. I'm just going to go ahead and copy the votes from before, and then we can see if anything has changed based on another minute here. Okay. All right, so copy and paste. So the overall vote for me was 7.5. I think I'm in about the same. Alberto, you were 7.25. Joyce, you were a 7. Mamoon
I
is
I
not
was
voting.
7.25
Moth is
again.
6.5. And then we have
Stacy.
oh wait, Mamoon, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so Mamoon, do you have any other questions or concerns about the proposal?
None.
Do you want to vote on the proposal?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what's your vote?
7.
A 7. Okay. And that brings us to you, Stacy. You can vote. Moth voted a 6.5. So, Stacy, what is your vote? And this would be from like a 1 to 3 is a no, a 4 to 6 is an abstention, and a 7 to 9 is a yes.
Well, I'm sorry, this is new to me. That's so different from what I've ever been experienced before. I mean, well, I have to say I'm at least like 7.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.5. Okay.
I mean, I might be really odd if I didn't. I'm dying to say 9, but we'll just say 7.5. I'm just going to say right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we typically, if somebody, like 9, every single number actually has a specific meaning, right? So a 5 is a perfect exact middle abstention. A 6 would be a positive substension. A 4 would be a negative substention. A 2 is like full no vote, but a 1 is a block, right? So a 1 is where you're blocking because it's against the mission statement of the actual organization. And
Okay.
then 7 is what we call willing consensus, which means that you're willing to go along with it. Whereas an 8 is supportive consensus, which means that you actually support the proposal fully. And then a 9 is what we call congruency. And so when you vote a 9, it means that you also believe that every single other person is also basically voting a 9 as well. So 9s are very, very rare because it's so rare to have everybody in agreement together. You know? Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Or at least we're voting a 7 or 8. So I think we have a 7.13, so this passes. And I guess the key thing, and anything over a 7 is willing consensus. A 6.5 and above is barely passes. So as long as the 6.5 or above, so this very clearly passes at a 7.13. It's substantially above a 6.5. So it does pass. And the next question here is that it does require approval. So it requires approval by the CCC/WCDC board because it's the nonprofit budget. So what this means is that basically Mel needs to approve it, and then it goes to Heather. So as far as the team that oversees the budget, we've approved it, and so we can implement it immediately. But obviously, it does need approval and review. So it gets the approval and review, primarily review by the board. So, but basically, we can implement this as if it was going to pass immediately, knowing that obviously, if the board had a problem or a question, we would need to rethink it or address that. But we'll get there if it happens. Okay.
certainly.
Cool. Yeah. All right. And then also note that all of the time you put into this before this session would count as equity already. So all the hours you already have put in, you would want to
Track them on your pop.
Including last week or?
say again,
Yeah,
including
including
all of
last week.
last week and everything. Yeah. So all the time you've already put in, what I don't know, have a couple hours, whatever, you would track that on your pop, and then that would already count as equity. And then from there, or back pay, and then from there, in addition to that, this session would count as well. So you can put this in there too, as normal hours, and then after you got hired, right? And so we're going on like an hour, and then from the next question is in relationship to like an advance, and if that's something you want to address now, or we can just deal with it next week, or you want to propose it, but that would be the next step in terms of on our normal policies. You wouldn't get paid until a month from now.
Oh boy. Okay.
If you wanted to propose, getting paid in a week, you could do like an invoice and just do a personal invoice for your time for the next week. But if you want an advance, you just need to propose it. So the proposal would be, for example, like I would want to give advance up to X amount of money. and then we would vote on all the different options in between. So, for example, if you proposed, the full amount, $420, you probably look at a spectrum from 0, 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, all the way up to 400, and then we would all vote on that. So that's the process of how we would be voting on it in advance. But
Well,
obviously, it's just
Yeah,
part of our
also,
policies that people can do that. Okay.
And I
yeah,
can,
and also,
I can,
you
go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
also, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but also the policy says that in order to avoid manipulation, you cannot do the proposal for your advance. So you should ask me, or you can ask Jay or any other Joyce, any other worker to do the proposal.
Well, but it's like you make the proposal, the initial proposal request, right? So you request the proposal. So what you need to do is decide what is the
you
maximum
request the
amount that
proposal.
you're proposing. So based on the max amount that you're proposing, then one of us is going to build the whole spectrum and put all the details in, because there's a bunch of required information that everybody needs to have when they're voting on a advance or a back pay proposal, which includes your time involved, your total back pay, equity already occurred. It also includes like your normal pay rate per month, all the information that people would need to know. So it's not, your jurisdiction, because sometimes when someone's proposing $100 in a jurisdiction that, minimum wage is $1 an hour compared to a very expensive jurisdiction, all those things are important to know when you're voting so that people can make an informed decision.
Of course.
Yeah.
May I ask,
So
obviously
you
it's
want
a
to
new
come?
company, but culturally speaking, as far as your culture thus far, is it unheard of or is it unusual for someone to make an advance request this early in the game?
It's totally normal. Like pretty much it's actually part of our policies. Like when we hire people, we ensure under our policies that if they are in need, like we ask them, are you good on money right now? And if they're not, we basically encourage, like waiting a
It
month
happens all
to
the
get
time.
paid can be very difficult for new workers.
Yeah.
And sometimes it means that they literally can't be involved because they have to go look for work for somewhere else. So an advance allows a worker to actually take the job seriously in certain
Right.
It happens all the time.
all the time. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and of course, we've been scammed before. I mean, where we gave an advance and they just disappear. I mean, that has happened.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's terrible. My God. The world has changed. I'm sorry to hear that, Jay. That's how demoralizing. Well, I'm too excited to disappear on you. So hopefully you guys don't get tired of me. But from my point of view, obviously, I could benefit from any of that. I would not feel comfortable, even though I could use it. So obviously, I would not feel comfortable requesting more than probably 2 weeks. But if there is a process for that and it's not that unusual, then I would love to jump on that bandwagon.
So again, it's just up to you to just decide. You basically say, you can either write an email or you could just say it now. I request
or usually
up to X amount of money, and then from there we would take action on that. But it starts with you deciding that you want to do it. Okay.
Right. And Alberto, what were you saying? Usually.
No, it's important for you we have Discord, right, where all our communication happens on Discord. So usually you send a message on Discord, and then I mean it's important for you to come on Discord because there's where all the communication happens, the coordination.
Right. So if I might make a moment just to address that. I am having issues with my phone, and after last week's meeting, I downloaded Discord, and my whole phone crashed. And it's not a memory issue either; it's something else. And unfortunately, I think the bottom line is I'm just unable to at the moment. But it also resets. Hopefully it won't happen now. But I've been on a call before where the phone will just sort of decide that it's going to restart. It's not an old phone; it's relatively new. I think it may have been refurbished, but it generally shouldn't be doing this, and it does seem to be going in a downward spiral. I don't have a warranty on it, so unfortunately, and I'm going to try again because the phone has been reset as of today. I didn't even reset it myself. It did it itself, so it's got its own mind. But I'm going to try again today, following the meeting immediately, to do Discord. And if you don't see me there, it's a good bet that I'm having issues getting it set up.
Okay, so last week, I believe, or the week before, you said that you did have access to a computer. So we definitely
do.
looked at your computer and connectivity problems. Like, I have no problem if you, I don't know what you do best on your phone, but you could do email on your phone, or you could do Twitter, or LinkedIn, or
Email
whatever.
would be, well, I'm not on Twitter, but I could do, if I need to be on Twitter, I can be. And also, I'm very comfortable with email.
Yeah.
And in
So
the
whatever you
meantime,
have on your phone, we technically we could even do text, but if email works, we do lots and lots of email. We have email groups
great.
that we can set you up on, and then from there on your computer you could put Discord. So if you have Discord on your computer, that would be more than enough.
there is an issue with that, unfortunately. I
Uh-huh.
recently purchased this computer. It is it's an iMac, and this is really a ridiculous thing, but I'm more of a PC person, so I'm learning iMac. But I did not get the setup discs with the computer, and being that it's an iMac, I guess supposedly a friend of mine knows Apple, and they said it's getting harder to update. But the bottom line is there's admin privileges on here. So I went to go set up my printer, and I don't have the admin password, which means I have to reformat the entire thing, which means I can't download Discord or anything else until I reformat the computer. So that is the downside. And it's really something I just learned. I've only recently acquired this computer, so it's very disappointing for me to share this with you and even know about it, but that's the situation.
With Discord, you can get onto Discord just by doing the website, so there is a web version. So
great. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. Wonderful.
So we could try to get you set up on that. So anyway, Discord would be helpful. Scheduling a time for your onboarding is going to be a good next step. And then scheduling your work responsibilities ongoing. So that includes, we have 3 SVG work sessions per week. It's at 1 o'clock every day. So
every day?
Wednesdays, Fridays at 1 o'clock is our work sessions. And then Thursdays are the, the main session. So that was today. So tomorrow, Monday or Wednesday is when you'd want to schedule for the work session on your responsibility.
Tomorrow or Wednesday?
Tomorrow or Monday.
Okay, or Monday. I'm sorry, cut off.
Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Mondays, Wednesday, Fridays are the work sessions at 1 o'clock, and then Thursdays are the main session. Okay?
Okay.
And then the other session that's important for you to do, if you're available, is Wednesdays at 2:30. Every other week is going to, and that starts next week. Wednesday, 2:30 is going to be our life support session. So this is where we go through your checklist. Okay, housing, car, job, like all these things in your life support to make sure that you are moving forward week to week on, month to month on your life goals, right? So in the context of the life support, that happens every 2 weeks. And then the other week is going to be the organizational support, where we would support you on, for example, setting up your animal nonprofit or whatever. So again, that's just like part of our program that we're launching and getting started, is the life support and the org support.
Right.
And then we have the work sessions for SVG and the main session. So that's pretty much the schedule. All of that will get onto Google Calendars / emails, whatever you need to do to get you the updates on all this.
As long as I have that schedule, if someone could send it to me, that would be really helpful. And of course, and only because I have a situation this weekend upcoming that I'm preparing for, I will go ahead with the Monday. Otherwise, I would be all over that for tomorrow. So I guess I'll have to go to Monday, which is disappointing, but I'm going to put it on my calendar for 1 o'clock. So unless anybody else, any concerns,
and you can also let Mel know that your number one primary responsibility is helping with the CCC board setup, and you can work with Mel on that as well.
Okay, I'm just taking a note here. That's fine. No problem.
Then you can schedule with Mel too. So because Mel's working on that as well. So basically, the other task here is to set up the email communications, because we're gonna need to do that. Alberto, Joyce, do you want to sign up for that?
Yeah, sure.
Alberto, okay. So again, this is just double checking our email group for our team communication, because right now we have the SVG partners, so we just need to create a new group for I don't know, core team or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So also Stacy, I don't know if I have your email. please just drop me an email to this account here
Okay.
online 144 fqnexamin@gmail.com.
Okay, you did cut
All
out.
right.
Just 1 second. I'm grabbing my pen. It just died on me. Of course, gosh, it only happens when
Yeah,
writing.
no problem. Just
And
drop me an email.
can you just one more time? Can you spell that out with the 144 for me?
Here, I'm just going to email both of you, and then we'll get it all set up, okay? Because I have
Okay,
the,
Okay.
great. As long as
Okay,
I have
that's
the
great.
email, that'd be great. And of course, I'll go ahead and send you just following the meeting. I'll go ahead in and I'll send you a test email just so you have mine.
Yeah, no, Jay is gonna do this now. He's gonna send an email
Okay.
both of us so we have it, and then
For the core team, right? Okay.
okay, and then
So I
And
can
then we'll-
invite you also to the
yeah, we'll
to
set
the
up
Wednesday.
the core team email as well, and then we'll get it all so we have the group email going on. Right now, we just have the partner. All right. Anything else? I think we're done, right? On Stacy.
I think we are. Yeah.
Just said I will see you all at 1 on Monday for sure. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm thrilled to be coming on board.
Great. And so at
Great. Welcome.
At 1 o'clock on Monday, we will be here, but we're also going to
Sounds
send you a
good.
link to the other Jitsi rooms, right? And the policy on work sessions is a maximum of 3 people. So if you see 3 people in the session already, we have to be prepared to immediately break up into 2 groups of 2 because we want to focus on doing work. So it's really very, very important when we're focusing on work to never have more than 3 people working together.
Interesting. Okay, no problem. No problem.
Buddy teams are kind of like the foundation to the whole network, and that's where all the work happens. Because you get 6 people, 8 people in a room, no work's going to happen.
Yeah, understood. Well, I'm looking forward to joining the group and supporting everybody however they need. And so I just encourage everybody to come to me also with ideas as well.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, great. Welcome on board.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
You're welcome to stay if you want to stay longer, but I know you got to get going to do other stuff.
Yeah, I am running late, but I may end. Well, I'm just wondering if I should just stay on. I think that maybe I will just stay on. I think that what I was running late for is a little less pressing at this time. I mean, it's already 10 minutes past the hour, so I think I can give you another 20 minutes if you'd like. I think I might as well, unless you're ready to have me leave.
I need to check out. I need to check out this time.
All right, so
know.
Joyce, do you
I don't
just
know.
want to go over the FQN life support stuff tomorrow, or do you want to still try to do it today, or what? I mean, we've
No,
been
I
doing this
just-
all the time. We're practically like going to hour 5 at this point. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to hour 5, so.
Yeah, I just put on Discord the list, and what my question was only for the Stacy's email. So now it's answered. So
So have that, and that'll be sent in the group, and then and again, the most important thing on life support is just making it clear that there is a difference between inviting someone to the program and inviting someone to the session. So those are 2 separate things, although you can utilize the session as a incentive to join the program, but they're not required to come to the program, to come to the session in order to join the program, okay?
yeah, I just want to ask Jay, in tab 5, I just quickly want to ask, are these the list are correct that I did?
I mean, I would assuming, no, there's always more potential lists to consider, and also you should ask the team, right? Ask everybody,
Yes.
is this the correct list? Is there anyone else we should include? And I would just go ahead and put the list in Discord so that you don't have to click on a link.
Yes.
And which, where are you putting that? Which,
The topic 5.
well, no, which
Life support
room,
session.
which room in Discord?
Okay. I will in the activity.
Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, let's just communicate there. Put the list, and then we can go over it back and forth. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and check out. I will give this session a 6.7.
I was very impressed that we only broke policy once in 5 hours on
Wow.
missing our break, right? So I like the idea that we might want to update the policy to be like, hey, a break is required every hour, but we're supposed to take a break every half an hour, right? And I think it works really well
Right.
with the broadcasting because it like forces you to do it. So that was good. And then from there, I'm really glad that we were able to finalize with Stacy. So that's really cool. And I'm also glad that we were able to get all our policies set up. We have agreement on LinkedIn, getting LinkedIn set up. So I think tomorrow, when we focus on the work session for SVG, it's actually going to be really exciting and fun because we're going to be doing a bunch of new things that have been held up for a while, for a few weeks, that we're now ready to do. So check.
Awesome.
Okay, Alberto.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give a session a 6.5. So good session, and we covered a lot for sure, but a bit too long. But I mean, it's the only main session that we have regularly scheduled, so it's okay. And definitely glad and looking forward to get as much help from Stacy as possible in setting up CCC, which has become so important at this moment, as important or even more than the launch, than the on time launch. Let's say on time for the second time on time launch of SVG. Yeah, check.
Well,
Yeah, looking forward to work tomorrow on setting up our starting to set up our LinkedIn social account. Absolutely awesome. Very glad about that. Check.
Okay, Alberto, can you take note for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I give this 6, and I'm glad that we reviewed our launch plan and also our multimedia plan, and also the budget, and also the policies on our profiles and pictures for our website. And I'm looking forward to work with Stacy also in our tomorrow's session. And also we'll be continue to work on the budget and base token payrolls. Check.
Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Joyce.
Ah,
Hello.
Mamoon, sorry.
Mamoon and Stacy
sorry,
needs to check out still. We still have Mamoon and Stacy.
sorry.
I can go last. That's fine.
I would give the session 6, and look forward uh, uh, to accomplish the budget as soon as possible, and I will be working on budget, payroll, and SBG. Check.
Great.
Okay, Stacy.
Maybe a 6.9, and just I'm excited to get my hands on everything and jump in, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of the team and move forward as far as getting to know each one of you and your expectations and your needs.
Amazing.
Great. And one other quick thing, Stacy, that'll help you. This is the team. It's me and Alberto and Joyce and you and Moth and Ate is on maternity leave. And Mel, in her relationship, she is a partner. So she's an owner of SVG, and she focuses on her own business, which is Good Cause Group. And then she's on the board of the nonprofit. So her role is very different than our role, but obviously we work with Mel, but in the capacity mainly focusing on the nonprofit and supporting her on the Good Cause Group. Okay, that just helps you understand.
Right.
And David is obviously, his role is we're just supporting him on his nonprofit, but he doesn't interact with us too much. So we're hoping
Of course. And if you don't mind me asking, we were just talking about the meeting schedule, and I was explaining about just the weekend. Unfortunately, an unusual priority this weekend that I have that's on a personal level, but for that reason that I'm going to join on Monday. But is there a way that I can get a copy of the meeting minutes or from Friday so that I don't miss anything important, or And I just want to make sure, and I confirm with you that Monday attendance is all right then.
Yeah, so overall, everything that we do is totally transparent, open, recorded. So we'll have recordings and notes, and all of
And I'll
those
get a
are
copy. Okay,
accessible, and they should be accessible from the SVG main sheet.
great.
But if you ever have questions, we'll have the email list. You can email, Alberto, Joyce. They're on it, dude. They are organized. Anything you need, they get it for you quickly. I can help with the same if they can't find it. So all of this stuff should be available to you as needed. Okay.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
But overall,
Anything you
again, reading any notes, watching any videos, all that is counted as time. So remember to track all your hours on your POP, and we'll get you set up with your work hours spreadsheet when you do your onboarding scheduling. So you want to schedule for your onboarding. And then
I want to schedule, and how much time about should I allot for that?
For what? Oh, onboarding? I don't know. What's like an hour and a half? Hour and a half is, I don't know.
1 hour and a half to at least get you started on the main things and get you the tracking hour spreadsheet, right? Where you're gonna be tracking your hours.
Right. Okay.
That's something that
But
you
overall,
need to schedule as soon as possible.
Yeah, onboarding never really ends. There's always onboarding and training.
Right.
Yeah, but as far as like weekends, like with the launch pending, we should be working on weekends, but we still aren't. So weekends are usually mellow. Not a lot going on the weekends. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with the exception of this coming weekend, because of a prior obligation, I'm always open to working on weekends, at least currently and ongoing from that point on. So starting the following weekend, if anybody does need help or has ideas or wants to brainstorm, I'm available.
Cool. Sounds good. And then generally speaking, all of the other workers, like for example, Joyce, it's literally the middle of the night because we have a lot of global workers. And all of the workers work at all times of day and night. And we also we used to schedule a lot more nighttime meetings. In terms of your role, we want you to be only working during the days because of our, your pay rate is just extremely expensive. So we do overtime. So just focus on working during the days as best as possible. Okay?
Of course.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, COBOL. Anyways, we'll explain all of that. But generally speaking, like, under our policies, technically, if you're working in the middle of the night, you would be making double. It'd be like $70 an hour because we pay double time for.
Okay, yeah, got it. And what do you consider nighttime, after 6 or?
Midnight.
Well, no, midnight to 6 a.m. is 2x pay, and then 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. would be 1.5x. So 1.5.
So I'll try not to work after 9 p.m. no matter what.
Yeah, so it's like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I mean, that's normal hours anyways. Like who cares, right?
Yeah, I generally can't see. I don't know, but I'm assuming there's not going to be any immediate urgency that calls me out of bed. So
exactly. So anyways, I'm just curious. So overtime would be normal overtime would be $52.50, and then double overtime would be $70. So
I would never do that. I would just never do that. But okay.
I mean, if you do end up doing that, it just goes into your equity anyways, right? Because it it just depends on what kind of work you were doing. But if you were doing a scheduled work
no worries.
for a session, you would deserve overtime just like anyone else. But the point that I'm trying to make is simply that in that context, you can think about that in terms of changing and updating your pay rate in the future. But overall, I don't think you're going to be doing a lot of nighttime work.
No.
Cool. I just wanted to mention that because we don't want to accidentally jump into that, especially in the first couple of weeks. All right,
gotcha.
Cool. Awesome. And plus, when you're scheduling with Mamoon and Joyce and other people, you could easily get a proposal that's like in the middle of the night for us because for them it's during the day.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask a question that's just slightly off, and it's just a yes or no answer. I don't want to get into too much with it, but I'm just curious. Do you guys plan on attending any trade shows when it comes to your business?
No, I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Like the general goal is online client work so that you're not tied to like a specific location, but attending a local event could be beneficial for getting a quick client.
Yeah. So, and that is something I'm comfortable doing, is going and setting up, and even if I have enough knowledge base, I'm even comfortable, being approachable for questions. It's just a thought as far as it's just what you said, the client side.
Exactly. The most important thing is that we need to be 100% prepared to do that. Like we are having our pamphlets. We'll have everything presentable in printable form and in poster form. But the question is, do we want to do that? And the main issue for the clients, we don't want them to expect in-person client support, because it would create a limitation on our global,
Right.
because we're a global organization. We would be happy working for organizations that aren't even based in the United States. Yeah.
Got it. And keep in mind, I'm very comfortable. Once you have the design outline done, I'm very comfortable dealing with any copier, printer shop, and doing that kind of stuff for you.
Yeah. So if that's something we want to do as part of our sales, that's definitely great, especially at the beginning where we're trying to find a client quicker. In-person relationships are much easier to get clients than online.
Certainly,
but,
right.
It is 2023, so getting people online is not as hard as it used to be, because it's 2023, but after the pandemic, right? But at the same time, it's still easier when you actually have that personable relationship.
Right. And I was just thinking that, I mean, I don't think that it's all that unusual these days to go to a trade show to sell an online presence.
True. Yes.
So
I agree. So anyways, that's something we could look into, and that